I'm from Akka in Palestine. It's in the north. I think it's very close to Lebanon, and it's now occupied by Israel.
I'm from Deir al-Asi, which is a village just outside of Akka, which is currently occupied by the Israeli government.
I'm from Nazareth, Palestine, which is in the northern part of Palestine, and it's part of the lands that were taken in 1948.
My dad is Palestinian Syrian. We're from Safad in Palestine. So we left Palestine my family left Palestine in 1948 in the first Nakba.
I'm Palestinian. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Tulkarem in Palestine.
It hurts that when you see on the news, you constantly see these conflicts happening. You see your own people. That's how you capture it. Your own people struggling and being put in the worst possible scenario as human beings.
I have Palestinian documents that state I'm a Palestinian refugee, which makes it hard for me to travel in general. But as a Palestinian, it's just hard not to be able to visit the place where you're from, where your family's been.
If I do visit Safad, because it's under the Israeli occupation, it's considered an Israeli territory. I get stamped with an Israeli stamp, and then I can't come back.
My grandma told me that in 1948, she told me about the day that it happened, honestly. She was there at home, and my grandma had 2 kids at the time, not my dad. My dad wasn't born then. And on that day, she told me people knocked on their door, which they were Israeli soldiers, and they asked them to get their stuff and leave, just like that. So my grandma told me she grabbed her 2 kids, and she told me a funny story where she had very expensive plates and she really loved them. So she went outside to the backyard and she opened a hole in the ground, in the sand, and she buried some of them because she didn't want them to break if anything happened. Because all that you think back then is that you're gonna come back.
So when my dad was about 30 years old, he was in Tulkarem when he was around Tulkarem when the 6-Day War happened. And it was a lot of chaos, obviously. It wasn't easy to live at the time there. He did face a lot of troubles going, because he was studying in Baghdad, so he'd been in Iraq, so he'd go between Palestine and Baghdad, and it was very difficult to do that. So he would try to stay away from Palestine at that time because it was difficult to go in and go out. Obviously, the checkpoints weren't something easy to go through at all. So it was difficult, and he told me a lot of stories about him trying to commute from place to place, and everything was just so difficult there at the time. So it was a very catastrophic time.
I have more emotions towards 1948 than to 1967. But then 1967 is also, it's kind of like a year that nobody wants to remember, because, I mean, losing in 6 days to Israel so many territories is not something that people generally feel very happy to talk about. And because people were assuming that after 1948 things would, like, this is the worst we can get and we're only gonna get better. But then 1967 proved wrong, that no, things can get even worse.
Think about asking or telling, for example, an Englishman or an American man, you can't go back home. You can't see what your home looks like. You can see it from the news, the videos and such, but it hurts that other people can go. They claim it's their home. It might be now, but at the same time, they have people living there with them. They have the Palestinians there with them. Even the Palestinians are spread all around the world. They have a right to visit. They have a right to see what their home is like.
I'm very proud of who I am, and I always, even when now I hold passports, but if anyone asks me where I'm from, I would always say I'm Palestinian, just holder of a passport. And we're very proud of where we're from. Like in our house, everywhere in our house, we're always surrounded by photographs and paintings of our country.
What it means to be a Palestinian is to be courageous, to stand up for my people, no matter what, to fight against the occupation and to fight for our freedom. That's my job as a Palestinian.